His continuous glucose monitor is telling me that he's below the level that we set. So that's pretty low. We're between like 80 and 120, so I need to get him up and get him some juice. Here you go. Something that makes my children unique and special is because they have type 1 diabetes, they are extremely brave, and I have so much admiration for what they're put through with this disease. They also have, I feel like they're a little bit wiser beyond their years because of what they've had to take on.
I'll wait till this blood drop comes up, and then I'll put the strip to my finger and I'll check it.
My husband and I dreamed of having kids, and it took us a little bit longer to have kids, and so the day my daughter was born was extremely special to us. She was a healthy baby girl, and just right off the bat she stole our hearts.
Stay like that, bend down.
Okay. Nolan is a very active 3-year-old. He's super fun, and he just makes me laugh and smile every day. He is just something that we've always dreamed for in a son. You squeeze it, okay? Remember I taught you how to squeeze it? And then you take this. You want to put it on there? Touch it. Touch the black dot.
It's off.
No, it's on there. It's just the sun is shining on it. So type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease where the body attacks its own pancreas, and so type 1 diabetics can no longer produce enough insulin to function. So we've got to, as parents, we need to inject them with insulin, and if an adult gets type 1 diabetes or somebody of a capable age, then they have to inject themselves with insulin to stay alive. So this is our supply cupboard for what we need to keep our kids healthy and alive, so to speak. Fast-acting sugars over here. This is called a glucagon, and this is what we use in an emergency situation if they're unconscious or having a seizure. These are their insulin pumps that they wear on their body. This is all their juice. We try to make lives as normal as possible for our children, but at the same time, my husband and I are their organ. You know, we have to be their pancreas throughout the day. So we're trying to stay between the lines, so to speak. We're trying to stay in a healthy range of blood sugars. And so what we're doing is we're constantly trying to raise blood sugars or decrease blood sugars, and it is one of the most challenging tasks that a person can take on, and so we have that ×2. This is their CGM, their continuous glucose monitor. So we did a restart, and so it's asking us to take 2 blood samples from Addison. Hers is the pink one. So it can calibrate the machine. So we have to do this every so often. So we hear beeping all day long, and this is just one example of it.
213.
213? Okay, so we need to... Type 1 diabetes does not give us a break ever. It doesn't take a vacation. It doesn't stop in the middle of the night. Wake up, it's Mommy. Your sugars are low. You need to sit up. So what my husband and I do is we check them before, when I say check them, we do a finger poke and get a blood sample on their meter before we go to bed. And then we have to set the alarm every couple of hours and do the same thing. So another at 2 and 4 o'clock. And so we're a good partnership. We take turns, but we never get a full night's sleep. I've always been good with analogies, and so having a child with type 1 diabetes, I try to explain it to another parent. It's almost like having a baby or a toddler near a body of water, like a pool, a swimming pool or something, without a gate and without them wearing any flotation devices. That constant fear that they're gonna fall in the water, that's with us like all the time. That's my analogy of having one child with type 1 diabetes. And sometimes they actually fall in the pool, and that's saying like they have low blood sugars, and we have to pull them out and rescue them. We're actually, throughout the day, we're saving their lives constantly. So it puts a toll on us. I want people to know that we feel as burdening as this disease can be and is, we do feel hopeful that there will be better technology coming someday soon that's going to help us and all other type 1 diabetics. We feel that there's a lot going on with like stem cell research and encapsulation that's gonna, it's gonna provide some relief for a lot of type 1 families. We cannot wait for the day that there's a cure for this autoimmune disease, not just for our family, but for all families that suffer from it. On April 30th, that, in a nutshell, that's the day that we saved my daughter's life. And it's an emotional story for me, but I'll try to get through it. But she had classic symptoms of type 1 diabetes, but I didn't know what they were at the time. So that morning, she was barely of speaking age, if you think about a 15-month-old, and she could say words like mama, dada, doctor, Wawa for water. And she started repeating the words, doctor. And, you know, I just thought she was babbling, and I went over to a friend's house, and she noticed that she was saying the same thing. So I asked my daughter, quite frankly, I just said, do you want mommy to call the doctor? And she said, yes. And it took me by surprise because I had thought about calling the doctor that day, but I wasn't. It was to perhaps change her antibiotic prescription that she was on. I thought that was probably making her thirsty and exhibiting some of those symptoms. I thought that was the cause. And so when I called and I told him the information, that's when the pediatrician said, it sounds like she's got diabetes. And I want people to know that story because it's quite amazing. I have a barely speaking baby, and she just told me to call the doctor, and she doesn't have much knowledge with doctors. We only went there for a few visits. So I feel like there was an intervention of some sort that she saved her own life. She was indeed in critical condition when we got her to the hospital. And they told us that she didn't have much longer to live.